Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. Let's talk 5 facts about day trading that you need to know, whether you're a beginner day trader, whether you have a lot of experience as a day trader. These are dynamics that always need to be kept in focus in one way or another. And right up front, there's going to be no theory here. This is not going to be a situation where, I think this is how it's supposed to go because I read it in a book once, but nothing like that. I will be using my personal trading results to illustrate each of these ideas here. And that way we know that there is practical application from it, because I'm not a big fan of reading things in theory. Like, okay, that's great. That's how it's supposed to work, but does it actually work? And this is going to be on the side of things where, yeah, these things actually matter. They actually work. So we are going to be putting the realm of theory behind us, and we're going to be looking at everything from real practical point of view. So let's get to fact number 1. Fact number 1, super obvious, but also super tricky. 0 guarantees. There are no guarantees. And I realize you're probably saying, all right, I'm about to turn this video off if this is like as obvious as these facts are going to be. But think about it. How many stupid things have you done over your career so far and journey where you look back and you say to yourself, wait, what was I thinking? Why would I have done that? Why would I have thought that way when the market offers no guarantees? I mean, I've done it multiple times. And if you're honest with yourself, you've probably done it too. If you haven't, just good job so far. But always remember, at the forefront of your mind, there are no guarantees. Stock market, options market, crypto market, none of the markets offer a guarantee. And it can be very tricky because, like I said, sometimes you could be on the edge of behaving in a way where if you just stop, take a step back and say, wait, I'm thinking about doing that. Why? Because, that doesn't make any sense within the context and with the fact that the market makes no guarantees. And all the other facts, as you'll see, trickles down from this one. But just understand, realize there are no guarantees. Fact number 2, only one question matters. Now, yes, there are lots of questions out there. There are lots of considerations that you need to be always going through as a trader, as an investor. But when you strip everything away, when you boil it all down, they all center around this one question. What do I think is going to happen next? Whether it be towards a stock, towards a forex pairing, towards a cryptocurrency, towards anything. What do I think's going to happen next? And that's all that matters. So you better have a tool that you feel comfortable with that's going to help you answer that question. Because if you don't have a tool that'll help you with that question, well, you're not going to be very good at answering the question. And if you're not very good at answering that question, you're going to have a very small trading career, okay? For me, I use technical analysis. I'm a technical trader. But it would be very deceitful for me to sit here and say, and the fact of the matter is, hey, you have to use charts. You have to use technical analysis or else there's no hope for you. That's just not how it works. There are other means, fundamental analysis. Those two kind of butt heads, big debate out there. And I'm not going to say that fundamental analysis doesn't work. But for me, from a time component, which you'll see comes into play later on with fact number 5, I just prefer technical analysis. But at the end of the day, like I said, putting those both aside, they all boil down to, once again, doesn't really matter. It's up to you what you feel best with. And I think I'm going to make a good case on why, technical charting is such a powerful tool. But at the end of the day, it still revolves around the question of, you know what? You better be good at answering that one question because there really is only one question that matters. What do I think is going to happen next? Fact number 3, things change. Markets change. Dynamics change. Hot sectors change. All sorts of things can always be changing. What causes them? Why do they occur? That nobody knows. There's a bunch of opinions, but the only opinion that everybody can agree on is, hey, you know what? Yeah, things have changed. Why they have changed? Well, that's where all the opinions come into play. But the fact of the matter is things do change. And on the screen here, you see, like I said, I'm using my personal results here, but the previous month, what was just very frustrating. It was very just choppy. It was a big struggle. And I'll put the link down to this video below that if you want to go and watch and get full context. But I can also try to save you time and just let you know that in that video, previous month, very, very difficult, very, very choppy. I did still walk away making some money, but I do know a lot of other traders lost money for that month. But it was just something had changed. The market was not like it used to be, and things do change. But when things change, that's why you have to be able to adapt and you have to be able to go and do new things. And what I did was I just changed just like that to options trading. Normally I trade stocks, but literally in just, like that, I was trading options. And you'll see my results in fact number 5. So in terms of, well, how did that go? And you will see. But the dynamic here is you better be prepared. You better have a tool that's going to guide you and assist you whenever those times do change. And that's where we go back to fact number 2 in technical charts is they allowed me to change. I don't want to say very smoothly, but I mean, as you see the results, I'm very happy with them because to think that I was trading stocks and then all of a sudden with just a decision say, you know what, I need to transition to a different asset class and trade options. You know, you got to be able to do that. You got to be able to maneuver. You got to have flexibility in the markets. And because of fact number 2 and using and having a quality tool such as technical analysis and technical charts, I was able to do that. Not perfectly, of course not, but I was able to do it. And I was able to do it, I think, quite efficiently, again, as I'll talk to you in fact number 5 there. But point here being is you better always realize that just because you have a sweet spot, just because you have a groove, just because you feel like things are going great, that is fantastic. And I want you to milk that cash cow for as long as possible, whether that be a strategy, whether that be a sector, whether that be an asset class. I don't care. Just keep milking it. As long as that cash cow is producing, then go with it. But just realize things will change. Why they change, how they change, you know, that's where the opinions come into play, but they will change. So things change, times change. And when you realize that, when you understand that, you're not going to be totally caught off guard for it, and you'll be prepared to maneuver just like I had to do. Fact number 4, boring equals big money. Because believe it or not, the money in trading is made with the boring topics. And I'm not quite sure there could get anything more boring than talking about risk management, risk control. I mean, let's all agree. I can agree wholeheartedly. Talking about big gains, talking about wins, talking about how much money you can make, talking about all the cool stuff you can buy with that money. Yes, let's talk about that. That is the good stuff. And I have, like I said, no problem, debating against that at all. But you know what? That's not what actually matters. And that's why a lot of people fail, because they fall into what is exciting. They fall into, just the stuff that the brain wants, that the dopamine wants to have, your brain loves that dopamine kick and surge. And when you're looking at fancy stuff and that fancy stuff came from trading and all the money you can make, yes. But you know what? That does not matter. Boring is what matters. Boring topics, boring dynamics is what's ultimately going to make you that big money. Now, it doesn't necessarily make you the money per se, because, making the money makes you all that, but it's going to keep the money you've made. It's going to protect the money that you've made. How many times have you been there, right? You're making money. Hey, where did it all go? Or, wow, I just lost a massive chunk of it. Like I said, you trade long enough, you're going to actually get there. So boring is where the big money comes into play. And I know, Clay, you said you're going to use like your real life results. We're on fact 4, and all we've seen is a chalkboard in theory so far. Fair point, but let's get to it right now. So I'm going to show you exactly how this concept of boring, risk management, risk control, ultimately played out to play a big role in this previous month's results. So on the screen here, you see some of my you see my results for the previous month that just wrapped up. And you can see that ultimately turned out to be a good solid month. Very happy, made over $4,000. In fact, number 5 will help quantify that a little bit better. But like I said, think about it. I literally was trading options, but because things change, fact number 3, I was like, wow, I need to transition to options. And I transitioned to options. So just like that, I'm very happy with how things turned out, just because it was technically a new asset class that I was all of a sudden trading. But what I really want to focus on is, 2 points. We'll look back here at this day. But this day right here, last day of the month, you can see right there, ultimately lost $785. And the key dynamic here was the boring stuff. And here's an example. Here's the practical purpose of being boring in terms of risk management. So what I did, and what I would encourage you to do, is because it was the last day of the month, I was looking and I was up basically $5,000. And I'm asking myself, and I want you to do the same thing. And I should note, this could be done at the end of a month. It could be done at the end of a week, at the end of any time. But you're looking at your gains, and I want you to ask yourself the question, what am I going to be happy with? What am I going to be okay with? And in this situation, I was going to be okay with, given all the context that I've already talked about, I'm just trading options. I mean, this has been a fantastic month for just trading something new all of a sudden. I want to have at least $4,000. And if I was up $5,000, well then, and I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, really showing you how boring this is, but how powerful and easy. Well, if I was up 5,000 and I wanted to have at least 4,000, then what is that number right there? How much could I lose? So solve for X. Who remembers algebra? Well, pretty easy right there, right? That means that I could lose up to $1,000. So going into the last day of the month, I knew that I could take on some risk. I could ultimately take a risk, get out there, maybe throw some and still be okay, even if I lost $1,000. And you can see that it ultimately played out. And I'm going to take you through the trade that did that. But you know what? I was willing to lose 1,000 less. I lost less than that. So still came out ahead of where I was totally comfortable with my month being. But think about that. Where did that come from? That came from me saying, you know what? Instead of focusing on, hey, how much money can I make for the last day of the month? The fun stuff. What did I do? I went to the boring side of things. I thought, all right, well, if I lose, how much money am I okay losing? And from there, I worked backwards and I protected the month, right? How many times have you been there? I've been there many times where you focus on how much money I'm going to make, and then the last day of the week, the last trade of the day, the last trade, last day of the month, and you just go and wreck things. I mean, I've been there. I've done videos on it. It's just not a good thing when you're focused on the fun stuff. How much money am I going to make? No. Let's get boring, because that's where the big money's at. Because you know what? It's hard to make money if you keep on losing it. Or if you make it, and then you give it all back, right? That's not sustainable. But when you focus on boring, it is. But yeah, let's take a look at that day there so you can see another function of risk management. Because yeah, sometimes it can be super, super frustrating. So the trade was on AMC, and what we're looking at here is the 1 minute time frame. So just each of these candlesticks is known, or as they're known, is worth 1 minute. And this is a technical chart. So I'm a technical trader. This is where the decision process was coming from. And right here, I'm thinking, I like this pattern. Working its way upwards, had the nice area right across, ascending triangle pattern. I like it. So I bought right here because I'm thinking this thing wants to get going up. And I like the chances of, especially the history of the day, was already making big movements. So I thought if it breaks here, I think it's got a great chance to at least get up to the 36.50 mark, if not even higher than that. Because, this thing had a lot of momentum. It was setting up nicely. Pulled back, bounced, pulled back again. That pullback was much smaller, started to come back up. So I'm thinking, here we go. I think the party's about to start. So got in, and then just like that, the next minute, boom, all the way down there. But you know what? Risk management matters. And you holding and hoping, right? Well, diamond hands, it'll go back up. No. If you want to be a long-term day trader, now I'm not talking investor, okay? If you're buying AMC because you think in the next 20 years they're going to be fine, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just trying to, build context of the perspective. I'm a day trader. These are facts about day trading per the title. But as a day trader, just buy, hold and hope. It'll go back up. Oh, that is a very, very risky thing. So I had to get out. I realized the loss. It is what it is. And then it gets extra cruel because look at that. Hey, look, it decided to go right back up. Have you been there before? You're disciplined. You focused on the boring stuff. You focused on risk control. You get out. You take the loss like you're supposed to do, and then the price just goes in your favor. Hey, you know what? It happens. It will always happen. That's just part of it. And then you can see right there, ultimately made a huge move up. Now, it never necessarily got to where I thought, but yes, you could play the game Clay. See, you should have held. See, everything always goes back up. Have you heard that before? Hey, just buy and hold because everything goes back up. But what was fact number one again? What was fact number one? There are no guarantees. I've heard it all the time. Well, just buy and hold because everything will eventually go back up. There are no guarantees. So let's just play the game again. Let's say that there is a trader that bought just anywhere around here. You know what? They bought, and again, this was a nice little setup there. They bought there, or maybe they bought there. Who knows? Maybe they bought down here, but they bought here. And this was a very nasty move, though, because it did break out. However, then the price dropped all the way back down. But again, that was a great move. It'll come back up, right? It'll come back up. So pointer being, let's say that I had bought made the move up, but it never really got to where I thought it was. And at that point, this thing was going. So why would I sell there? I mean, that thing was just booming. And then all of a sudden it comes back down. So I'm thinking, well, I'll give it another try. I'll hold in hope, right? Diamond hands. Let's diamond hands this thing and let's see what happens. Well, I'm going to speed things up here, and you can see that it did not go back up. In fact, let's squeeze this down. It did not go up at all. In fact, it dropped all the way down. Look at that, all the way down below $25. And a bit of a bounce there. And you can see, let's keep it all on screen here, that ultimately, there we go, end of the day at $26. Now, to be fair, could AMC go back up? As of the time of this recording, it could. And could I, where I bought right there and held and hoped, could other people that bought right there, held and hoped, could they be eventually bailed out? They could. But I'm telling you this right now, if you're day trading, again, day trading strategy is all about allowing positions to move $10 against you, that's a massive flaw. That's going to bite you at some point. And it might be biting people right here. Again, I don't know what's going to happen next. But as of right now, people that deployed it'll go back up. Let me just hold and hope. Let me not honor risk. That's a very bad situation. For me personally, again, I'm not talking in theory. That $700 loss looks amazing right now, because had I held and hoped, that could have easily wiped out my entire month. Gone, just like that, as it continued to drop. And I could see probably selling right around, I don't know, there, because I could see, okay, here's the bounce. Good. It's finally turned around. Oh, no. I can't stand this. I'm not going to let this, and goes back down. So again, and who knows, maybe that would have suckered me in before that plunge. Maybe that would have suckered me in before. But point being, that think about that. People that held and hoped, people that just didn't have any, they're not focusing on the boring stuff. They're focusing on, no, I'm not going to sell because I'm going to make money. And if I hold long enough, if I hold and hope, if I diamond hands it, I will make money. Well, we'll see what happens here, but this was as real as it gets. And I'll tell you what, sometimes losses feel good. That loss feels very, very good, because to see that big surge up, what a cruel move. I mean, AMC just blasted up, got right there, and then from there, just slow bleed over $10. That was basically about a $12 move over the course of a couple hours, basically trending downwards. That could have been very bad. But I also now want to focus on more boring, but just the power of risk management. So I mentioned earlier actually the first day of the month. So let's click on that and we'll see something specific here. But down here, you can see my results for that day. So my picture's in the way, but traded BTX and Tesla, which you can see it here. But pointer being is this right there, being down the 1900, was on 3 separate trades. And it was just loss. Okay. Out. Okay. Loss. Okay. And it just, things were rough. Things were rough on that day. But then, you got to stay with it. And I saw another setup come in this one, and you see the results of it, but BTX for $2,000. So in other words, on that day, 3 losing trades, but then just one trade. So think about it. I was right 25% of the time. I was wrong 75% of the time. But because I focus on the boring stuff, because I focus on risk management, risk control, which again, fact number 4, you better be doing, I was able to actually salvage the day and walk away with essentially $44. So that is the power of focusing on the boring. I know I spent quite a bit of time on this one, but this is a very, very important fact because remember, holding and hoping, it's as obvious as fact number 1. There are no guarantees. That is one of the things I see all the time. As obvious as people say, well, I know that there's no guarantees in the market. And then they tell you, well, and I'm holding and hoping. It's like, wait a second. You just said there's no guarantees in the market, yet your theory on this is diamond hands, hold and hope. Like that, what everything goes back up. Well, you just told me that there's no guarantee. So how can that statement make any logical sense? It doesn't. But that's what I mean. The human brain is a bizarre place. So fact number 4, boring equals big money. Fact number 5, side hustle efficiency. I understand. I had the same impression. Well, trading takes a lot of time. You got to be sitting there. I mean, the stock market, for example, is open over 6 hours a day. So I got to be there for 6 hours, but I have a day job. Crypto markets are open all the time. So like, do I have to be like, how much time do I have to be devote? None of that. Trading. Now, let me take a step back. Trading can certainly be some sort of full-time income stream if you want it to be that. But for me and for many others, it's a side hustle. It's just one stream of income amongst many other streams of income, which is a whole nother video. But in terms of wealth creation, I believe in multiple streams of income. And for me, trading is one of them. And it's essentially a side hustle. And it can be a side hustle for you because there's not a whole lot of time that is required. Now, let me also preface that by when you're new and a beginner, well, yeah, there is time required because you have to study, you have to learn. Like any skill, you have to put in the time to learn about the skill, fine tune the skill, and get good at the skill. So that does take time. But after you have that out of the way, you don't need a whole lot of time at all. You can, but that's by no means required. It is a very, very efficient way to make money. Once again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to drive home. After you put in the time up front of learning about, practicing, fine-tuning, and mastering and crafting the skill. But once you get that, a very time-efficient way to make money. And again, no theory here. Let's go back to my results. So the way I approach trading now at this point in my career, and everybody's different. For me, just background, so this kind of approach makes a little bit more sense. But I'm a father of 4 kids. One is actually, at the time of this recording, due any time now. So who knows? Maybe by the time this goes public, I'll have 5 kids. But right now I have 4. One more due at any time. But point being, I'm a dad. I don't want to be changing my computer all day long. I don't want to be changing my phone all day long. No, I want to spend time with my kids, with my family, with my wife, all of that, okay? And so for me, I'm not looking to do this because I want a Rolex watch collection. I'm not doing it because I want a private jet or a yacht or anything like that. If that is your goal, if that is your why, then that's fine. I'm not judging you. I hope you get that Rolex watch collection. I hope you get the private jet. But for me, my why is freedom of time. So for me, I'm looking to be done what I call now the be done in 30 approach, meaning on average, I want to be done after 30 minutes every day. And the one thing that's been awesome about options is it has allowed me to get that down very, very closely. Now, some days, yeah, I did trade for more than 30 minutes, but some days I was done, and I have a live trade segment, and you can go and watch those. But some days I was done after like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So point being, though, I'm happy with that. I'm not looking to make a bunch of money, like I said, for those reasons. So I want to just go through the efficiency of trading. So how does that work? Well, again, on average, and really it was below 30 minutes, but just to keep the math easy and for argument's sake, let's just say it was 30 minutes per day. So there were 20 days in this month here. So 20, hopefully I can do the math and not get too nervous. And if I was doing 30 minutes each day, that comes out to 600 minutes per month that I devoted towards this side hustle, towards trading. Well, how many hours are in minutes? Well, 60, right? So let's divide that by 60. And that means that I was at it for 10 hours. So total time, a little less than 10 hours, but let's just call it 10 hours that I devoted towards trading, towards this side hustle, which again, a lot of people say 10 hours. I thought it was like 6 hours per day. What are you talking about 10 hours in a month? That's what I mean. You don't have to put in a bunch of time in order to get, at least for me, worthwhile results. Now, this next number, if you look at that and you're like, no, that's not worth my time, then I mean, well done to you. I'm not envious of you. I'm not jealous of you. I'm inspired by you. So let me know what you do for a living, because that's pretty cool that if these results would not be worth your time. But for me, as a side hustle, 30 minutes per day on average, they're worth my time. So here we go, 10 hours in a day. And what did we say my results were? Well, down here, again, 41.32. So 41.32 divided by 10 hours, right? Because that's how many hours we just determined. $413 per hour doing this side hustle. I am more than happy with that. Again, if you look at that number, you're like, no, $400 per hour is not worth my time. Then hey, all the power to you. Let me know what you do in the comment section below, because I'm inspired by you. That's awesome. Good for you. But for me, hey, that is more than worth it. And that hopefully goes to illustrate fact 5 that, yeah, learn the side hustle, do the side hustle. It can be super, super efficient from a time perspective. Now, if you want a lot more money, if you want that private jet, then yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to accomplish that in 30 minutes. I could be wrong, but you probably are going to need to devote more time to it than that. But for me, in my situation, which I've already explained, I am more than happy making over $400 per hour. So those are the 5 facts. Focus on them. Always keep them in mind. And, just reflect on them, and you'll see how they all connect in one way or another. The big connection, I'll just stay with this, is, hey, as obvious as it is, there's no guarantees. And then all of a sudden with fact number 4, hold and hope, because everything goes back up. It's just the ultimate contradiction that I see all the time. So just keep those things in mind, and I think they're going to, it will help you. I can't sit here and say make millions upon millions of dollars, but it will help you survive in the markets. And that's the first step to having any sort of successes. You got to survive in order to thrive. And if you focus on that boring stuff, if you find yourself a good tool to answer that one question that matters, if you're always prepared that things change, time changes, you realize that there's no guarantee, and you just realize that, hey, you know what? This can be a very time efficient way to go about making money. If you're going into it with the right framework, then you are setting yourself up for not guaranteed success, because, hey, there are no guarantees, but you are putting yourself on a pathway. You're putting yourself in a frame of mind that I think gives you a very, very realistic chance at making some worthwhile money, whether it be a side hustle or some sort of full-time job. So those are the 5 facts. If you enjoyed this video, if you want me to do more like this, then let me know in the comment section down below, or better yet, a very time-efficient way to communicate to me that, hey, this is worth my time, you would enjoy more. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment, and the comment can be something as basic as a thumbs up emoji. Maybe give me the diamond hands emoji, but any sort of emoji along with hitting that like button goes a very long way. And then also check out the channel as a whole. I'm not a big fan of people asking you to subscribe after like a video. So all I'll say is please check out other videos. There's a bunch of live trade videos. And if you like what you see at that point, then yeah, please, I'd love to have you subscribe. But overall, get out there, keep in mind those 5 facts, and I'm very confident they'll put you on the pathway that you want to be on. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only 1 losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.